Blessings, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for joining me today for this yoga to connect to the present moment. This is a really good practice if you want to ground and just come back into your body and let go of just anything that maybe is worrying you about the future, or maybe you're holding on to and reminiscing about the past. Um, and just to come back into your body and to get really grounded and centered, and so you can just focus on the present moment and really embody that and enjoy it and embrace it. For practice today, you're not going to need a whole lot of props. So you can have a blanket if you'd like, or a couple blankets. You can have a bolster. And that's pretty much it. If you feel like you need other props, go ahead and grab any that you think that you might need. Otherwise, we're going to start by taking a comfortable seat on the mat. I have a blanket underneath my hips. That's going to bring my hips up and lessen the pressure on my knees. Sam wants to come here and say hi to start. So said no. He's the expert at being in the present moment. Usually his present moment involves a nap. He's also going to have a comfortable seat here, so we'll let him sit here. So let's get started in a comfortable seat. You can rest your palms in your lap, palms facing up or down. And then if it feels comfortable to you, you can soften your gaze or gently close your eyes. And we're going to ground into right here and right now. So let go of anything that has happened in the day thus far, and we'll get started. So as you inhale, really focus on feeling that air coming in through your nostrils. It should feel nice and cool. And then you can follow that breath as it flows through your body. As you exhale, focus on the warmth of that breath. You can also feel your body contracting as that air leaves your body. Nice big inhale and exhale. So I'll take a few rounds of just inhaling and exhaling and just coming to this moment. If you'd like, you can set an intention for the practice. It can be whatever you want. So our intention today can simply be to be present with this practice and to really focus on the sensations that you feel when you're in each shape. And if you're someone that's been practicing for a while, maybe you can choose to focus on maybe something new and come to it with like a beginner's mind. Sometimes when we're practicing something, we just rush through it. We don't take that time to really be present and notice those different sensations, or something new, or maybe something you missed and possibly overlooked. So we'll take that time today to really be present in our bodies, listen to our bodies, and maybe find something new that we haven't experienced before. Maybe learn something new today. Okay, we'll take one more big inhale. And then let's go ahead and sigh it out. Don't be shy, you can be audible. You don't have to be audible about it though. Completely up to you. Alright, from here we're going to go ahead and warm up our spine a little bit. I'm not going to go to a cat-cow just yet. So from your comfortable seated position, let's go ahead and take our left hand and place sit on our right knee. And then we're going to take our right fingertips and just swim them around behind us. On an inhale, sit up nice and tall. And as you exhale, turn towards the right side of your mat. So twist towards the right. Inhale, you might sit up a little bit taller. Exhale, you might be able to twist a little bit more. As you're moving into this shape, just make sure that you're not pulling or forcing or twisting. Only go to where it feels comfortable to you. And make sure to keep your spine nice and tall. And breathe. Don't forget to breathe. And after your next exhale, go ahead and return to center. We'll take just a couple breaths here. Take a moment to notice both sides. Try to avoid labeling that feeling or sensation as good or bad. Just really focus and notice the differences. Close your eyes if you'd like to. You don't have to. I know I close my eyes. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and move to the other side. So go ahead and take your right hand. We'll just place that on your left knee, and then you'll take your left fingers and just swim them around behind you. Your next inhale, sit up nice and tall and straight. And on an exhale, turn towards the left. Next inhale, sit up a little straighter. And then as you exhale, maybe you can turn a little bit more. But if not, that's okay too. Really go to where it feels comfortable in your body today. And breathe. Feel into your spine, feel into your body. Notice where the breath is flowing to. And then after your next exhale, go ahead and let it go and we'll return back to center. Just take a couple of nice long breaths here. Alright, after your next exhale and when you're ready, we'll go ahead and transition onto all fours. So a nice tabletop position. This is where if you have a blanket that you are using and if you have maybe sensitive knees or maybe you need a little extra padding underneath your knees. I'm on a hardwood floor, so I just have my mat. So the blanket is sometimes nice to take some of the pressure off of that joint. So you can pad your knees if you'd like. If not, that's okay too. And then just make sure your knees are under your hips, hands underneath your shoulders. Nice flat back, nice and neutral. And on an inhale, we're going to look forward. We're going to tip our tail up, tip our chest up, drop the lower ribs, and come into a cow pose. On your exhale, go ahead and round through your spine. Tuck the tail, tuck the head, coming into a cat pose. Inhale, drop those lower ribs, lift the tail, lift the chest, look forward, cow. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck the tail, tuck the head, cat. So we'll go ahead and do a few more just on your own breath. Take your time. If one pose feels better for you than the other, or if you're really feeling into it, then go ahead and stay in that pose longer than a breath. So again, listen to your body and just be present and take what you need, leave what you don't. And inhale, lower the ribs, lift the tail, lift the head, look forward, cow. Exhale, round through the spine, drop the head, drop the tail, cat. After your next exhale, go ahead and return back to a tabletop. tabletop position. And then when you're ready, we'll just walk our hands one handprint above where they were. So it won't be directly under your shoulders. And then go ahead when you're ready and tuck your toes. On an inhale, look forward. On an exhale, lift the knees and just hover off the mat. And then on your exhale, straight through the legs, shift the hips up, back, and down, coming into our first downward facing dog of the day. If you'd like, you can take your dog for a walk, bending one knee, bending the other, and just moving back and forth, kind of waking up our legs a little bit, getting ready for our practice. And once you're ready, go ahead and bring that to stillness, and we'll take just a couple breaths here. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower your knees back down to the mat. Go ahead and take your knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. On an inhale, look forward, and on an exhale, shift your hips back. You can walk your hands forward if you'd like, and if you'd like, you can bring your forehead down to the mat. You could also prop it up on something if it doesn't quite reach. You can even stack your forearms, coming into an extended child's pose. Make sure to keep breathing. Your next exhale, go ahead and look forward, and we're going to make our way back into that tabletop position. So again, knees underneath your hip points, hands underneath your shoulders, spine nice and neutral. And then when you're ready, we're going to warm up our core just a little bit. So we're going to really focus in and really just pay attention there. So let's go ahead and send our right foot out. Now you can keep your foot on the mat. And then if you'd like, you can rock just forward and back, stretching out that calf a little bit. When you're ready, go ahead and bring that to stillness. And on an exhale, just go ahead and lift your leg up. Keep your toes pointed down. Now you may feel like this is enough, and that's perfectly fine. If this is your edge, stay here. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to go a step further, then you can lift your left arm up off the mat and then just reach forward. Make sure to look forward and breathe. If you're shaking or trembling, just acknowledge it, that's okay. Your next exhale, go ahead and lower back to all fours. That shaking, just really pay attention to how that feels in your body. It really does, that does bring you into the present moment, because that's all you can focus on. You're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, you're just thinking about, when is this pose going to end? When can I come out of it? So, we have to do the other side. We don't want to be uneven. So go ahead and stretch out the left foot. And again, you can rock forward or back just to bring some movement into that calf and into that leg. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bring that to stillness, and we're going to lift or float that leg up off the floor. Make sure to keep your toes dialed down. Don't have them splaying out all over, so just keep that really dialed down. Again, you can stay here, or if you'd like a little more, go ahead and reach your right arm out, just straight. And keep breathing. Feel your core power turn on. You can get ready for some planks today. And after your next exhale, go ahead, return back to your tabletop position. Go ahead and widen your knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. On an inhale, look forward, and on an exhale, send it all the way back, coming into an extended child's pose. And then just breathe, give your wrists a break, and get ready for our flow sequence. And on your next inhale, look forward. We're going to make our way back to tabletop position again. I'm going to move this blanket out of the way. Hopefully that's not too high. We'll see. All right. From here, if you're in tabletop, walk your hands again, just one handprint above where they were. We're going to tuck our toes under. Inhale, look forward. Hover the knees off the mat. And on an exhale, shift your hips up, back, and down. We're going to come into that downward facing dog. And breathe. You should feel a nice stretch in the legs. Go through the back. Really press into your thumb, your pointer, and your middle finger. That'll help to take some of the pressure off the wrist too. On your next inhale, go ahead and lift your right leg up. It doesn't have to come all the way up to the sky, but it can. And on an exhale, we're going to bring our knee into the chest, shift our weight forward, and then step our right foot in between our hands. Go ahead and lower onto that left knee and shin. And we're going to come into a low lunge. So you can come up all the way if you'd like. You can also keep your hands on the ground, or your fingertips on the ground, or you could even have blocks if you wanted to, and bring your hands up to your, or bring the floor up to your hands a little bit more. So keep a nice straight back, chest nice and lifted. You should feel a nice stretch on your quad of that left foot. And we're going to breathe. Make sure that this front knee is in a nice 90-degree angle, and that it's not going over your ankle like that. You want to make sure that you're not collapsing into this lunge. And then make sure that you're pressing your knee out towards your pinky edge of your toe. We'll take one more breath here. And on your next exhale, we're going to shift our hips back. We're going to straighten through the front leg and then peel those right toes up off towards the floor. Bring the toes to point towards your forehead, and you should feel a nice stretch in your hamstring. Again, make sure to keep length in your back. Chest still nice and lifted, and only go as far as it feels comfortable to you. And breathe. Your next exhale, we're going to roll forward. We're going to come back into that low lunge. So again, chest nice and lifted, and breathe. Make sure to pull that right hip crease back. That way your hips are nice and square. And then when you're ready, go ahead and make sure to plant your left hand on the mat. You can keep your leg on the floor, or your left leg extended on the floor if you'd like, or you can tuck the toes and lift, up to you. And then from there, we're going to twist towards the inside of our right leg and lift our right arm up towards the ceiling, coming into a nice Big full body twist. And breathe. Make sure you're not collapsing in your head and neck. Just look up towards that hand. And then after your next exhale, we'll go ahead and lower that right hand towards the floor and frame our right foot. And then from here, let's step our right foot back to meet our left foot and coming into a nice plank. First plank of the day. We have a few today. So go ahead and reach towards your heels, towards the back edge of the room. Make sure to keep your spine nice and straight. Breathe. And on your next exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down to the floor, to your belly. Untuck your toes. And then just rest for a moment. Just take a few breaths. Try not to belly flop on the ground, and then just still be present. Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and you'll take your hands underneath your shoulders. And on an inhale, just look forward. We're going to come into a little baby cobra to kind of warm up our upper backs a little bit. And breathe. If you feel any crunchiness in your back, then lower down further. But you should feel a nice, your lower back should turn, or your upper back should turn on here. Right after your next exhale, go ahead and lower your forehead back to the floor. We're going to push ourselves up to all fours. And then go ahead and tuck the toes underneath. Inhale, look forward. And an exhale, shift your hips up, back, and down. Coming into downward facing dog again. We're going to look forward again. This time we're going to extend our right leg up. So lift that leg up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, bend through the knee, shift forward, look forward. And then we're going to plant the left foot in between our right hands. Or in between our hands. It will be in between the right and the left hand. All right, and then if you'd like, you can lower that right leg to the floor, untuck the toes, and then look forward, coming into that nice low lunge. And breathe. Again, you should be feeling a nice stretch in that quad of your right leg. After your next exhale, go ahead and straighten through the left leg, shift your hips back, peel those left toes up off the floor, and have your foot nice and active with your toes flexing towards your forehead. And you should feel a nice stretch here in the hamstring. And breathe. Make sure to keep a nice lift in your chest, don't collapse. Be present in your body. After your next exhale, go ahead and roll back through that front foot, coming back into that low lunge on this left side, and breathe. And then let's go ahead and plant our right foot firmly on the mat. Make sure you're nice and steady and grounded there. Again, you can leave your foot lowered, or you can tuck the toes and lift the foot up off the mat. And then when you're ready, we're going to twist towards this left side, extend the left arm up towards the ceiling, and breathe. Ready, go ahead and lower that left arm back down towards the mat. And we're going to step our left foot back to meet our right foot, so coming back into a plank pose again. And press through the heels. Keep your back nice and straight and breathe. And then when you're ready, we're going to lower all the way back down to the floor. And then we'll just take a couple breaths here. All right, after your next exhale, go ahead and place your hands underneath your shoulder points. And on an inhale, look forward, rise up. You can come into a baby cobra, or if you want to extend into full cobra, straighten through the arms, really press through the ground and lift yourself up higher, keeping your hips on the floor. And breathe. Again, if you feel any crunchiness through the back, then go ahead and lower down. You don't have to come all the way up. With your next exhale, go ahead and lower back down to the floor. And we're going to get ready for our next little sequence, which is a little bit of a challenge. Don't panic, don't freak out. We will get through it. We're going to be present. We're not going to worry about if we can do it or not. And we're not going to think back about the times where we tried and maybe we failed. We're letting that all go. We're going to try this right now. So you have some options. We're going to go into a plank. You can either go into a forearm plank. Just make sure that your elbows are stacked underneath your shoulders as you do this. And then you can curl your toes and you can lift up. Just make sure to keep a lot of integrity in through your spine and make sure it's nice and straight. Or if it's in your practice, you can shift or just push yourself all the way up and come into plank. We'll breathe here for just a moment. And then when you are ready, make sure that your hand is underneath your shoulder, and we are going to turn onto our right side. Now from here you can stack the feet. You can bring your left foot in front of your right leg if you'd like. Just really push away from that mat so you can have kind of a kickstand. So we're coming into this side plank. And just breathe. You can extend the arm up towards the ceiling if you'd like. And then once you've had enough of that, let's go ahead and return back to center. If you need to take a break, lower the knees down. Let's come off the arms actually for a moment. So let's all do that. So you can circle your wrists. Just take any movement that feels good to you. You can extend your arms out. You can lower your hands or your fingers down towards the ground. That stretches out the wrists. Push away. All right, are you ready to go to the left side? You are. All right, so we'll come back into our plank. So go ahead and tuck your toes under, lift up through the knees, and get your plank pose nice and ready to go. Take just a couple breaths here. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and turn onto our left side. So again, you can take your right foot in front and stack it, or you could stack your feet on top of each other. Take whatever variation feels good to you. Keep your hand on your waist. You can stretch your hand up towards the ceiling. Just make sure to keep breathing. Feel that shake. Feel that tremble. You're alive in this moment right now. And then when you're ready, let's lower our left hand to the ground, come back to center, and lower all the way back down to the floor. And let's just take a moment to breathe here. You might have a little sweat starting. You might be a little breathless. That's all okay. You're alive right now. The That's what we have, is this present moment. Breathe into it. Take this moment to relax. You made it. Good job. And you know, if you fell out or you didn't do as well as you thought you would, or don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up about it. This is a practice, so maybe today it didn't go as well as you wanted it to. But that's okay, because you can try again tomorrow. This mat will still be here for you. The practice will still be here for you. And you can always stop and try again. That is the beauty of it. You can't make a mistake. Every day your body is different, depending on how much sleep you got, what you've eaten, work schedules, things like that. So don't beat yourself up. Just some days you're going to need more rest than others, and that's okay. And then sometimes you might be injured, so you won't be able to do certain things. I injured one foot, and then I injured another foot right after that. So I'm still trying to get used to some of these different movements and balancing out my body. So don't beat yourself up. Right, I'm going to stop talking. We'll come back to the practice. So we're going to cool down here. Let's go ahead and do one last cobra pose just for the road. So place your hands underneath your shoulders if they're not already. And on an inhale, look forward, push up through the hands, get a nice stretch in your abs, and breathe. Cobra pose. Make sure that your shoulders aren't coming up towards your ears either. You don't want to wear them as earrings, so press your shoulder blades down your back. And again, you can always lower down if that's too much. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower your forehead down to the floor. We're going to push ourselves up to all fours once again. We're going to come into one last downward facing dog. So if you need to adjust, feel free to. When you're ready on your next exhale, go ahead and shift your hips up, back, and down. We're coming into our last downward facing dog of the practice today. And breathe. Right after your next exhale, go ahead and lower your knees to the floor. You can walk your knees in or your arms back, and we're going to come into a seat to start. So when you come into your seat, we're going to open up through our hips a little bit. Let me move out of the way of this bolster a little bit. You're going to bring your feet together. So we're going to come into a nice cobbler's pose, really opening up through our hips a little bit. Sit up nice and straight. You can even bring your hands, you can interlace them and bring them around your feet and sit up nice and tall. And kind of feel a nice stretch through your shoulders, your neck. And if your knees don't come all the way down to the ground, that's okay. You can always use your blankets or pillows or whatever you have around to bring the floor up to you. That's perfectly okay. Not everyone is as open in their hips, and that's fine. You have to do what's right for you. And breathe. Should feel really nice after some of that work. All right, when you're ready, we are going to transition onto our backs. So I'm going to come to lie flat on my back. I'm going to keep my knees bent and on the floor. From here, I'm going to lift my right foot up towards the ceiling, and then I am going to butterfly it out and cross that right ankle over my left knee. If this feels good to you, stay here. If you want to go a little further, let's lift that left knee up off the ground. And then from here, you can either thread your hands through and grab onto your shin or your thigh. Or if neither one of these feels good, you can stay here too. So I'll let you have that option. So we're coming into a little reclined pigeon pose. Make sure to keep your feet nice and active. You should feel a nice stretch to the outer right glute while you're here. And we'll breathe. After your next exhale, go ahead and lower that left foot all the way to the floor. Stretch your right foot up towards the ceiling one more time. Feel a nice stretch through those hamstrings. And then bend at your knee and place that right foot on the mat. Take a couple breaths here. Just compare your two sides. And then after your next exhale, we'll go ahead and straighten through the left leg. And then we'll butterfly that out, crossing that left ankle across the right knee. Again, you can stay here if you'd like a little more. Lift that right leg up off the mat. And then you can stay here, or if you'd like a little more, you can thread through your legs and grab either onto the outs or the thigh of your right foot, or you can bring your hands around your shin. Again, listen to your body and take whichever option feels good to you today. The one thing that you have to keep doing is you have to keep breathing. So make sure not to stop breathing, please. One more big inhale. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and release your hands. Bring that right foot down to the mat. Straighten through that left leg one last time, and then we will bring that right foot down to the mat as well. From here, walk your feet as wide as the mat, and then bring your knees in together to touch. So with that cobbler's pose, we really opened up our hips. So now we're going to just kind of stretch out the outer thighs and rotate that back in. So we're just doing kind of the opposite of all those hip openers that we did. You can bring your hands on your belly, or one to your belly and one to your heart. You can leave your hands on the floor, just whatever feels good to you. And we'll just take a couple moments to breathe here in this constructive rest pose. Just really slowing everything back down, coming back into ourselves, being present with the sensations in our bodies and in this moment right now. From here, you can bring your legs or your knees back. You can separate your knees, and then you can stretch one leg out and then the other. Again, you can have your palms resting on your body somewhere. So sometimes one hand on your, let's actually do that. Let's place our left hand on our heart, right hand on the belly. Soften your gaze or close down your eyes. We're coming into our final pose. Corpse pose. Shavasana. And really feel into your body. Notice any sensations. Feel the nutrients of your practice. I know it's tempting to skip this part because it feels like you're not doing anything, but all of those things will still be waiting for you. We won't be here very long, so just take that time to give back to yourself and to nurture yourself and to give yourself that self-care that you deserve. Because if you're always running around and doing things for everybody else, then your cup gets empty. And I know that when my cup gets empty, I become extremely grumpy and not very pleasant to be around. So taking this time for yourself is really beneficial to both you and your loved ones, or to people that you work with or that you interact with on a daily basis. Because when you are full and when you are nurtured, then you can in turn give that to other people. You can really spend the time to be present with them and to enjoy them and to enjoy whatever moments you're having with them. And just to enjoy life. You're not reminiscing on the past and feeling bitter and angry, and you're not anxious and worried about the future. You're just here right now. So go ahead and take this time for you. I'm going to quit talking for a moment so that way you can go inward. Don't worry, I will watch the time. So just relax and enjoy, and I'll wake you up here shortly. So anyone that's practiced with me before knows that I always pull a card, and the card I pulled today was Otter Spirit. You are never alone. The message is like true friends, otters nurture each other and express their affection through touch. Actions such as holding hands and giving hugs offer reassurance that we are never really alone and that we are always cherished. Otter Spirit has appeared to remind you to experience and express friendship in a tangible and even tactile way, which I know is hard right now with COVID. Communicate with your voice, your facial expressions, your gestures, turning the page, and your actions, letting your love express itself beyond just the words you speak. Otter Spirit's message is that presence matters, so remember to be fully present with those you care about, helping them sense the love and affection and appreciation you have for them. Now is a time for a joyful celebration of the love in your life that expresses as friendship and companionship. Hug someone, touch their arm, or simply look into their eyes with your full attention, saying, I care. You matter. Make time for friendship. Otter Spirit promises that the moment you reach out, you will remember that you too have many who love and care about you. You are never alone and you are always loved. I know that's a very hard message right now with COVID. There's a lot of people that are still isolated from each other just due to risk. So just know if you are lonely, you are not alone. You can always reach out to someone, and they definitely do care about you. And even if you have no one to hug, if you have puppies or something like that, you can still show them your love too. And they show you love too. You're not just to feed them. All right. If you are able to stay in Shavasana, stay as long as it feels comfortable to you. If you need to go and get on with the rest of your day, then slowly start to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle fingers and toes. And then when you're ready, roll over to your favorite side, and then just stay there for a moment, kind of coming into a fetal position. Breathe. slowly waking up through the body, coming back into your surroundings. And then when you are ready, go ahead and push up and come back into your comfortable seat. Bring your head and neck up last, and then when you're ready, you can open your eyes if they're not already. So thank you so much for spending your time and your energy and your practice with me today, and anyone else that happens to watch this that you're practicing with. Time is fluid, so we're kind of all practicing together, even if it's not in real time. So again, if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll keep bringing more out. And your support means the world to me. So thank you so much. Namaste. Have a good rest of the day, and